Good morning, Dr. Jesse. Can you hear me? Hello.
Hello. Yeah, good morning. I can hear you, please.
Okay, morning.
Yeah, good morning.
So, Dr. Jesse, so this link is available to everyone, right?
Yes, sir, it is available. It is available.
Okay, we'll just wait for everyone to join in.
Yeah.
So, how do we see the lockdown opening up, Dr. Jesse? Are things okay with Jaipur?
We cannot predict because the things may go out of our hand because people are not that much cautious about all these things.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to just wait for some time with respect because this particular thing needs a behavioral responsibility also from the side of the citizens. If they are really responsible enough, we may be able to win this. Otherwise, things may go out of hand because community transmission uh,
Yeah.
may increase if people are not really concerned and cautious.
Oh, absolutely. This is a kind of a,
Because
everyone
when I'm
has to.
seeing the scenario over here, because the government has opened up this bar shops and all,
Mhm.
When we are looking at the enormity of the people who are just queuing outside, outside there in order to get a bottle, that is really pathetic. Because till yesterday it was a whole lockdown, and today people are just queuing outside that particular shops in order to get a liquor bottle. Is really astonishing to see, because that will definitely increase this community transmission.
No, absolutely. And I think everyone has to be responsible for their own
And
health. Yeah.
yeah, everyone has to be, otherwise things will go out of hand. And if we are going to lockdown after a week, then naturally it is going to be a really contagious situation wherein all the people in the house are going to be affected. So we cannot afford for another lockdown 4.
No, absolutely. I think from a government perspective, we really cannot expect either the central government or the state government to really spoon feed people anymore, right?
Behavior
Either they
change is
take,
required.
yeah, either they take responsibility or they face the consequences. I think that's where we are. We consider ourselves developing economy, and we have, we consider that we are educated people. But if we cannot really behave like one, then I think at certain point we have to face the consequences. Yeah. So I hope people will really mature
Yeah,
and then.
people need to be really responsible, otherwise things will go out of hand.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because this enormity we will be able to actually see once the lockdown is opened up.
Right. Yeah. And then you cannot keep the economy in lockdown forever.
Yes, that is also a problem, because we cannot shut down this manufacturing units for a longer period of time, because actually it has actually started affecting the economic health of the nation, because people are really suffering, but I don't know, both sides are there. With
Oh no.
respect to education sector, it has UGC has given us real strict guidelines that for the next 2 years we have to be really cautious with respect to the social distancing even among the students.
Yeah. See, but education, as I see, and you guys will have more knowledge. I see that also, related to the topic we are discussing today, will become really a new way, right? We have to look at education in a completely different way. Gone are the days when 100% education, starting from school up to college, post graduation, will really be limited to classrooms. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
How you and I have been educated versus how the coming generation will be educated will be entirely different. And all of us as a community, as educators, as institutions, as students, also we have to really, take responsibility of our own learning, right?
Very
We'll
true,
talk a
very
bit more about that when we get there. But yeah, means things are changing. So the sooner everyone understands that, sooner everyone starts taking responsibility, I think the better off we are.
very true. Because yesterday I
And
was having a discussion with UGC Vice Chairman, so he was saying that for the next 1 year, what we have to do is that we have to ensure that we have to call the students on an odd even mode,
mhm,
so that the number of students present in the campus at a time should be as minimum as possible. Clubbing this, going ahead with this blended learning. But some
absolutely.
students will be going for online mode and other students will be going on offline mode.
Yeah, and I think blended is definitely the way forward. There cannot
Yes,
be only one way of teaching. For some things you have to be in the campus, but for a lot of others, you can definitely be off campus and make learning happen that way. So how we are doing it today, I mean, so it's so easy to reach out to hundreds of people in a virtual mode. Yeah. uh, if you had to organize a similar seminar on in the campus, you think how much of logistics we would have needed, right? But here we could just do this in what, 2 3 days time.
and we
uh,
would have waited for you to fly down to India and then interacted.
that's another
We should have
story.
waited, when you are going to come down to Jaipur, and then we can think of a session with you.
I'm seriously thinking of hiding in a cargo plane and flying. So someday you may find in the news that my name is coming up as someone who tried to hide and fly in a plane. So
Okay. Yesterday in the news, we were able to see that people were actually escaping to Bihar. They were hiding in this concrete mixture.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
really a suffocating thing, but still, because of that poverty and they are not having any work,
True,
they are trying to go back to their respective places.
true, absolutely.
Okay,
Okay,
now we have to.
yeah, let me know when you are ready to start. Then we can make it a give
We
it a
have
go.
reached around more than 50s there. I think the number is increasing. Indians are always 2-3 minutes late. होते ही है, all of us.
Yeah, that's fine. Especially when we get used to working from home remotely, that there is this ability of trying to honor time, especially if it is not a compulsory thing, right? So
But this
that's
is a time when we have to start admitting and understanding the importance of time, because the
yeah.
more you are going to utilize the time, the more skill sets that you will be able to develop.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Actually, skill sets are going to be redefined. Actually, so I think within 2-3 minutes we can start. We are having more than 53 participants now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Whenever you are ready, then make it a start. We'll have around 1 hour, Dr. Jesse.
Okay.
So we'll just try and split it in a way that I don't speak for more than 40-45 minutes, and then we have some time towards the end for question and answers, right? I will anyways I'll pause in between to see if there are questions related to the topic we are discussing, and at the end I'll just give some time for all of us to see if there are any other questions which we could not answer during the presentation. So like I mentioned to you yesterday, once everyone joins, one announcement I make is if there are some questions that come to their mind which is slightly different to the topic, but they feel it is important for them to ask, they can post it on the chat window, and then we will pick those questions up at the end. Right?
Okay.
All the questions that we can, we will
Okay.
try and address at the end.
Sure.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions for you as well. Kind of the topic that we are discussing. There might be some questions that come in, but yeah, we'll see how we handle. So once we start, we'll make some announcements.
I think we can make once we have crossed 60 or something, we can start.
Absolutely, we should. Yeah, respecting the time of people who have joined on
Yes,
time.
yes, yes.
Some of them joined before time as well, which is great. Thank you, everyone. I definitely see on the participant list even some of my colleagues and friends have joined, which is great. So I hope we'll get to have a nice conversation.
Yes, yes.
I hope the voice is clear to you,
Crisp
Dr.
and clear, crisp and clear.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
I think early class was also going on. That's the major reason students are. I think Abhi they have just left that particular class. We have faculty members and students from other colleges as well.
Sorry, I missed that last part, Dr. Jesse.
We have faculty members and students from other colleges as well.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sorry, Dr. Jesse, come again.
We have got some of our recruiters also in this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I think we can start. We have crossed 60.
Sure, we can do that. I think what you can do, Dr. Jesse, as a start to just ensure you put everyone on mute. I think as the organizer, you can do that.
Yeah, I've done that. I'm just unmuting you.
Yeah, I'm fine now. Yeah.
Okay. You're fine?
Yep. You can hear me?
Yeah. So
All right.
let me, we have crossed 64. So I'm just officially initiating with this webinar. So good afternoon, everyone. So on behalf of FMS IRM, I would like to welcome Amitava Chatterjee, sir. He is one of our alumnus, belong to the batch 1998. So presently he is working as a director in Cognizant Technology Solution UK, helping customers in their journey of digital transformation. He has an overall experience of 20 years in IT sector in various roles. So sir, we are looking ahead for a wonderful session. Our students are going to learn a lot from your session. So I'm really thankful to you for sparing your valuable time also, even though there is a 4-hour difference between the two nations. But I'm really thankful to you for sparing your time. Sir, now it is over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jesse. Quick confirmation. I hope you can see my screen and my voice is clear.
Yeah, crisp and clear. Go ahead, please.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. It is always, it feels very nice to give back to the college that I have passed out from several years back, actually almost 2 decades now. I am an alumni of the 98-2000 batch from IRM, and it feels very nice to connect back to all of you and talk about some of my experiences. So the topic at hand today, I named it the new normal and our ability to come out a winner. So we all know about the current situation. There are a lot of things going through our minds. We're trying to see what this means for us. So we will see how much we can address this. What are the current, what are some of the things that we can do to really revive ourselves as human beings, as humanity, to come out of this situation stronger. I think that is the theme of the presentation today. One quick request to everyone. As we move through the presentation, we will have some opportunities where I'll ask some of you to respond to certain questions. So please be on mute, and when you are trying to answer a question, unmute yourself, talk, and then go back on mute. This just helps to manage the environment and that there are no disturbances. I'll be playing 2 videos during this presentation. During the video, I request if you have your video on, please switch off your video during the time that I play the video. That just helps to for people to concentrate on the screen a little better. And then if you have any specific questions that come to your mind but doesn't get covered in the flow of the presentation, please post that on the chat window. We will try and see if we get some time as we progress or towards the end to pick up some of those questions. So with that, we will make a start. I would be trying to now get into the first video that we have. So just go there. Give me a minute. Hope we will be able to. All right, so we start. happening in our lives today as we speak, right? So now just moving on, my first question for today, what do we mean by the new normal? What do you understand as a new normal? And the COVID situation is just an example, but what exactly is a new normal? Anyone, please go ahead.
Any one of you can unmute yourself and give the answer.
So very good morning.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So the new normal means adjusting to the new conditions which are there in the scenario. Earlier we used to go to offices. Earlier we had a work culture doing it from the offices. Now the new culture shifts back to performing everything from home. Everything has gone for a sea change because the scenario has got changed because of COVID-19. So the routine changes. Sanitizing has become a regular habit. Working from home has become a regular habit. Even for kids, the new normal is playing, having Zoom classes from home. Earlier they were like going and performing.
Okay, great. Anyone else? Any other thoughts?
Hi, this is Dalvinder. So I would like to add here. So the new normal is the new ways of living a normal life. So how we continue our normal living, continue to the office, kids continue to the schooling.
I think the voice is breaking.
What are the new ways that we need to adapt to live that normally?
How recession of abnormal before has become commonplace now. So you would not have thought that I will or our kids will study, a kindergarten student or a student of class 1 or 2 will have online classes, but that is the commonplace thing that's happening in all our houses today. So what was abnormal yesterday is has become commonplace or is the new normal today. So that's how it is defined. And again, it came out of the financial crisis, but this applies to a lot of stuff. You'll continue to hear a lot of people really talking about the new normal in economics, new normal in teaching, new normal on how we raise kids, new normal in how our employments will work, and so on. So that's what we didn't think about something before, but now it has become commonplace, and that has continued to happen over centuries. This is not the first time we are looking at a new normal, right? It's just that this is a new normal. But yeah, let's move on. The question in front of all of us today is, are we prepared to deal with the new normal? That is what we need to really look at. How prepared are we? What do we need to do to come out stronger out of this new normal? So we'll look at some bit of that. So like said, what do we really need to do to come out of this situation, to deal with this new normal, and then ensure we're able to make this commonplace? There has to be something, right? You cannot just sit, relax, and believe that the new normal for you will become the normal thing going forward. You have to do something as well. All of us as individuals have to do some things as well. And the key thing is, for us, we will all depend on the government to do something, we'll depend on our teachers to do something, we'll depend on doctors to do something, but the key focus for all of us is, how can we build on our capabilities and as individuals to really help us steer through this situation and help come out stronger. The focus being, we will definitely, there is a change, there will be a change in the environment, but please understand, for people who are prepared, for people who are looking at it the right way, they will only come out stronger, and then there will be much more possibilities when we can get into this new normal, and when this new normal becomes normal for us. So important is all of us needs to understand we have to do certain things, we have to be prepared, and we have to take the next step to come out of this. I'll just play another small video here. This is, this is how a child is reacting to the situation. Just listen on and see how a child is talking about what is happening around her.
Are you scared of the situation, Sri? It is absolutely okay to be worried, but without undermining the unlimited potential of humanity, which has been proved time and again. We all fear darkness of uncertainty. We feel lost too. However, humanity always prevails. The spirit of human is far beyond the darkness. It is continuously bringing light of hope, a hope that sets us all apart from every other living thing in the world, be it wars or pandemic.
I'm not scared, Daddy. The Black Death has been considered as the longest ever pandemic affecting us until the 19th century, infecting almost the entire world. It was the Black Death or plague which wiped almost 1/3 of the European population. Again, we won over the situation and found a cure. This completely transformed how we deal with pandemic or diseases since then. Humanity won, and today we are absolutely safe from the Black Death. Smallpox killed almost 30% of the population then, and there were times when 90% of the Native Americans were infected. Smallpox has resulted in end of the empire. George Washington lost more troops to smallpox than to actual battles. Dr. Jenner found a fix that set the world free of smallpox eventually. This is what defines us. We have always emerged and ended up adding something really great to the mankind. It was just one example. We now have ways to fight and defeat much more dreadful diseases. Then comes the World War I. Technology had never been put to such a destructive end. We had more than 40 million people died fighting for their nation or alliances. It shook the world in every manner. However, we again rose above it and laid the foundation of great technology researches, largest social reforms, and post-war, the time presented largest industrial growth in the history. World War II even exceeded the destruction to the world with 80 million plus dead. We can never forget the day when the clock was stopped with first ever atom bomb attack in Japan, the complete end of devastation. But Japan revived as one of the biggest economy of the world. It presented world with huge economic opportunity, and almost entire world focused on research and exploration of technology, not for destruction, but towards energy, space, medicine, welfare, and much more. Now we have this COVID situation. It may have shook the world today, but eventually it will make us better, socially, emotionally, and economically. The 7 C's of human spirit will always prevail. I'm doing everything that I should do, such as classes. So what if it is online? I'm playing. So what if I'm wearing mask, playing in a safe area? I'm getting more time with you all in family than I used to get earlier. I'm confident we will always cope with whatever the situation comes.
We move on, even with more energy, more passion, more enthusiasm, and more commitment to ourselves and to the humanity.
All right, so I just wanted to give you the context of what has happened in the past. We have always come out stronger. Let me just quickly pause and ask, what was the last such a situation that any of you remember? I see we have participants who are older than me. A lot of you are younger than me. But any one of you, what was the last situation that you faced which can be termed as a new normal in your lifetime? Anyone?
Till now in our lifetime, we have not faced such a drastic situation. We have heard many things about it, but in our lifetime, we have not faced such a situation. We are facing such things for the first time. enormous one. Otherwise, smaller situations like war with Pakistan or something like that, that we have already expressed and experienced. But enormous one we are facing it for the first time, wherein the world is affected. Otherwise, majority of the situations were confined to a particular geographical location. But this is a situation wherein the whole world is affected.
Okay. Any other thoughts? All right, good. I think, see, one of the examples that we have on the screen.
Demonetization.
Okay. So that's a great example, yeah, because after demonetization, how we work, digital economy really become a new way of life, right? It was no longer a choice. You had to do it. So that's a great example. It might be, the new normal can really be a huge impact one, like we saw the world wars that have happened. It can be smaller, but it really is talking about how your lives change post a certain situation. The example on the screen, the financial crisis of 2008, 2012, it impacted almost all economies. India probably was less impacted than some of the other developed economies, but we did see an impact then as well. Any guesses? All of us understand the gross domestic product, right? GDP. Any guesses of what the GDP was, the world GDP was in 2008? Anyone can take a guess. 2008-9, what was the world GDP then? Wild guess is fine.
Anyone can answer? Unmute yourself and answer, please, students.
6%.
Sorry?
6%.
No, it's not a percentage, it's an absolute number, right? GDP is always an absolute number. The world GDP.
About 65 trillion.
Yeah, it is around the 60 trillion mark in 2009, right? Post the crisis immediately hit. What was the GDP in 2019 when we ended 2019? World GDP again. The world GDP at the end of 2019,
20 trillion.
around 87 trillion, right? So from 60 trillion in 2009 to 87 trillion, which is an increase of 44%. So after being hit with the most impactful global recession in modern times, as a world, as humanity, we could bounce back 44, you can just see at that impact, 44%, huge number, right? We didn't get bogged down. So all I'm trying to say is this has happened. These things will happen. You cannot control some of these things, but then it is our ability to come out stronger. One of the key things we'll talk about today as a part of coming out stronger is what I call the 7 C's of resilience. And we'll talk a bit more about this topic. Taking a pause, anyone, what does resilience mean for you? What is resilience?
So resilience means recovery.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Anyone else wants to comment? What do you mean by resilience, or what do you mean by being resilient?
Ability to face a situation.
Okay, coping up, good. What else?
Yeah, exactly. I was saying the same. Ability to face situation.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone else?
So being flexible.
Okay. Flexibility. Anything else?
Being dynamic.
All right, great. I think great input. So let's go ahead.
Your topic itself, creating a new normal.
All right. Okay, good. So let's look at what the real definition of meaning is. So as it is defined, resilience is the capacity of a system, and it can be, remember, a system can be an individual, it can be a forest, a city, an economy, to deal with change and continue to develop. And that's where we are, right? you as an individual deal with the change, deal with the new normal, and continue to develop. It is about how humans and nature can use shocks, and we are in a period of shock now, and disturbances like a financial crisis or climate change or a pandemic to spur renewal and innovative thinking. So I think all of us were talking about the same thing. So basically, if you look at it, talk about yourself as a system. How can we really continue to develop, come out stronger via, renewing ourselves, and then with innovative thinking and some of the other stuff that we'll talk about, and come out stronger, right? So that's resilience. And one of the tools that we'll talk about is called the 7 C's of resilience. The 7 C's of resilience are confidence, competence, connection, character, contribution, coping, and control. And in the next few slides, we'll just talk about each of these 7 C's in a bit more detail. Okay, competence. Anyone, what does competence mean to you? What actually is competence?
So one's ability to perform something.
Okay, ability. What else? Any other thoughts on competence?
Sir, opportunity, the market.
Okay, the market. Anything else?
Knowledge, skills, and abilities.
Skills and abilities. Perfect. Anything else?
So capability.
All right, great. I think, and great guys, absolutely the right thoughts here. So if you just look at from a definition perspective, a competence is a passion for something or an aptitude for a specific skill, activity, or sport. So in essence, we are talking about skills here. So competence equivalent to skills, right? When you become competent, you develop a certain skill, and those skills really get developed, or you become more and more competent on a particular skill through actual experiences. Now we know we have so many, let's take from a example from our sport. All of us love Virat Kohli. Now Virat Kohli has a skill, or had a skill. He was a great batsman, but he had worked, or he kept working on his skill. He developed his skills through actually practicing, through actual experiences, playing matches, and then he continued to develop and acquire new skills. What are the new skills he developed? He became a captain. So managing a team is a new skill that he developed as he continued to build on his other skills. He's a great actor, if you will, right? Because he does so many advertisements today, because he has, over the period of time, developed that skill as well, because he has worked on it, right? So one is to have a skill, and then how you really work on it to develop your skill through actual experiences, practice. Today, than ever before, we have the opportunity, we have the time to work on our skills. It is absolutely important that the time that we feel we have at our hand today, we spend or we invest in acquiring new skills. The people, and that is where is someone who is prepared. We looked at it in the first slide. Is someone prepared versus someone is not prepared? You are prepared when you are investing your time wisely in developing new skills. And if you are not doing that, then you are losing out. Someone who is investing will definitely come out stronger than the other who did not invest wisely. So remember, that is a very, very important aspect. We need to definitely look at how we are spending our time today. We have so many opportunities. You are, most of you are students, and you are in the internet era. Everything is there out there. You have to make a wise choice of what you want to focus on. You have the liberty to either watch Netflix for 4 hours a day, or limit yourself to Netflix for 2 hours a day, and the balance 2, you really put in acquiring some new knowledge. And I'm not saying Netflix is bad, Prime is bad. Obviously, you need entertainment and you need to keep yourself engaged. All that is good, but you really need to find out the right mix of how you need to develop yourself. One key thing, a lot of you would understand in a new normal, a new way of working going forward, people who are in their final semesters or who are getting into their final semesters, let's say, you will probably not appear for a physical interview at all. Your interviews will probably all be virtual. You'll be talking to someone like we are talking today over video, and you'll be giving an interview like we did in our good old days, sitting front to front in front of someone and giving up a face-to-face interview. But that will change. Are you preparing yourself? Please go on mute. Someone speaking. And if you do not really prepare yourself for that virtual interview, then you are losing out. And remember, we cannot only depend, and we talked about this earlier, we cannot only depend on our teachers to tell us what to do. You have to take your own development in your own hands. So that is competence. Second C is confidence. Again, anyone, what does confidence mean to you?
Having belief in oneself.
Okay, perfect, great. That was Ananya, I hope, by the voice.
Yes.
All right. Anyone else? Any other thoughts on what is confidence?
Having trust on your abilities.
Trust on your abilities. Perfect. Great answer. Anything else?
Having a thought that you will come out successful.
Okay, perfect. Great. I think all of us are probably more or less saying the same thing. So believe in your own abilities, right? You need to believe that you have the right ability to do certain things. So that's really confidence, and it comes from within yourself, right? Confidence is something that it's not like I can give you confidence, right? I can, in a way, right? I can build confidence. We can work together, and there are confidence building measures that a group can take. But confidence in yourself needs to really come from within. That depends on what you know, what your abilities are, what your skills are. Yeah. And confidence comes from building real skills and feeling competent. So in essence, what we are saying is competence leads you to confidence. So if you have the skills, you know exactly what you need to move to the next phase. That is where you'll feel confident that, yes, I have what it takes in me, and therefore I can move to the next level. So competence and confidence are the first two C's. We'll move on to the next ones. Third one, connection. What does connection mean? Any thoughts on that?
Association or relationship.
Okay, great.
Between two people or maybe things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great thought. Anyone else? Connection.
Interpersonal skills.
Interpersonal skills, okay. Anything else? Sorry, I missed that. What was the last? All right, no problem. So we'll just move forward. So connection is really what we are talking about, ties. We talked about interpersonal connection. So it is ties with your family, friends, school, and community, right? We in this group are a community today. We are here, teachers, students, professionals, friends, colleagues, all coming together, right? That is connection. And we'll see why that is so important. Why is developing a connection with family and friends so important, and having a connectivity within your community? Because we remember, since childhood, you've probably felt the most secure with your parents, right? You know that someone will hold you together always. There is someone there always for you. You are protected. You are taken care of. So when you are within your community, within your friends, you know that you're protected, you have a sense of being, you can definitely depend on someone. You know, some of our IARM friends, my batchmates are there on this call, and even after 20 years, we are connected. And if one of us has a problem, we can definitely, we know for sure that we can depend on the other for help, right? Because we have been able to keep that sense of togetherness. That gives me security. If I have a problem, I know I can reach out and seek help. And in today's world, also much relevant, right? We are sitting hundreds and thousands of miles apart, but we have the ability to still get connected and keep connected. Use that as often as possible. Develop your connections. Talk to people, be it your teachers, your friends, your mentors. You have people all over the world now who can, you know, you do not need to be physically in front of each other to really work on your connections or what, you know, have connections or talk to them, speak to them, see each other, right? Connection, very important, because you need to know that you have somewhere to go, you have someone to go, you can approach someone as and when you need it. So connection, very important. That's the next C. The fourth one, character, hugely important. What does character mean? And we have, you know, multiple ways of thinking about character, but what does character really mean for you?
So attitude.
Okay, attitude.
Personality.
Personality. Okay. What else? Any other thought?
Quality of a person.
Quality of a person. Wow, great thought. So basically, character in essence means you have the ability to distinguish between what is right and what is wrong. That's what character is. It gives you the ability to say, okay, I have the ability to understand this is wrong, this is right, this is good, this is bad. And that does not always come naturally. It comes as a result of what you see in your surroundings, how you have grown up, what you see, what you watch, what you read, what you are taught. There's so many inputs coming towards building your character. But then in a sense, if you have the ability to understand what is right or wrong, you will have the ability to make the right choices for yourself. Remember, we talked about in the beginning, when we come out of this situation, and we will if not soon, late, whenever we do come out of this situation, we will have options in front of us. Are we able to now develop that character, work on, everyone has their own abilities and all that, but can we work on the right things to be able to make us ready so that we are absolutely sure about the choices we'll make in the future? Remember, the choices you make will really determine where you go in a few years' time. You need to be able to look at what is coming. You need to, however, you see there are changes happening around you. Like we said, your the ways we work, the employment generation opportunities, a lot of that will change. But can you preempt what the future holds for you, and therefore work on yourself, work on your character to be able to really take you there? That's what character building is all about, and that's one of the very key focus areas all of us need to be working on. Moving to the next one, contribution. What is contribution? And again, I'll add on, why do you think contribution is important?
Contribution is offering something.
Offering something, okay. And why is that important? Anyone? What is contribution and why is that important?
Giving input.
Okay, and why is that important?
For making change.
Okay. Why is that important?
To upgrade the way of living.
Okay. And why is that important for you?
So to upgrade the way of living or help to others.
Any other thoughts before we move on?
Yes, sir. So contribution is your role and it is your part that we are supposed to do as a part of this nature.
Okay. All right. So let's just look at it. A contribution is a sense of purpose and the experience of offering your own service. So when you offer your own service to say, I'm contributing today to the seminar. Dr. Jesse is contributing to this seminar by organizing this. Participants, my batchmates, my colleagues, they are joining this seminar and participating and giving their thoughts, right? That's kind of how we are offering what you can. And why is that important? That's very crucial, because it makes it easier for individuals to ask for help when you need it at a certain point. Remember, all of us will need help one time or the other. And that's just the truth of life, right? That's just how it works. But if we have been able to contribute before, it just makes it easier, all the more easier for us to go and seek help. Because I know that I've offered help to others, I am in a position to seek help and not feel bad about it. Seeking help is absolutely not bad. But how you get to a position that you are not embarrassed for seeking help is when you know that, hey, I have done this before. So when I am in a position when I need help, I can definitely go out and ask for help myself. More so in the current situation, right? We may need help, we may need inputs, we need to talk to our mentors, we may need to talk to teachers, we may need to talk to colleagues, for people, professionals, right? We need to talk to our bosses, our managers, and figure out, or even our team members. But if we know that we are in a position where we have been able to contribute, we will never, ever feel reluctant to seek help. So, just think about, and as a community, if I have to think about the Sikh community. Think about the way they help our, other communities in the time of need. They are selfless, right? And therefore, they have the strong ability or the strong connection within the community that then really can reach out to each other or to anyone outside the community to seek help when they need it. So ensure that there is a sense of contribution that we are able to develop. And it is for our own benefit. It's not that we are helping others. We are helping others so that we can help ourselves at a certain point. So that's the 5th C. Moving on, coping. Again, a very, very key skill. What does coping mean?
To deal with the situation.
Deal with the situation. Yep, absolutely. Anything else?
Managing things.
Sorry, managing?
Things, anything. Managing.
Okay. Managing. All right. What else?
Surviving in a certain situation.
Survival. Okay. Yeah, perfect. So it's really a strategy to deal with a situation. Yeah. And it can be your personal strategy. It is a strategy that you have learned. It is a strategy that you develop. And it is more about what you need to do in this situation versus what you do not need to do, right? A lot of, if you look at in and around you, a lot of guidelines coming out of what you're not supposed to do. You cannot go out, you cannot gather, you cannot go to office, and you cannot do this, and you cannot do that. But look at the positive side. You have to always figure out what is it that you can do, what is it that you can focus on, and that is what will help you come out of the situation. That is what will help you kind of cope with the situation, manage that situation. And remember, some things in life are really some things we just have to let go. Many of us here on this platform, can I develop a vaccine for COVID-19? probably as an individual, I cannot, right? So can I keep stressing myself, oh my God, there is no vaccine. The vaccine will come only in 12 months, 18 months, and I can get all stressed about it. But because I cannot directly impact the vaccine, creation of a vaccine, I would rather focus on something which I can do as an individual, as a professional. I can make my team more productive by setting up remote working for them, right? That is what I can do. So I'll rather focus on that versus focus on something which I cannot directly impact and therefore become more anxious about it, right? So coping, how you deal with the situation, focus on what you can do versus focusing on what you cannot do, because what you cannot do, you really cannot impact as well. Now, the last and the very, very important part of the 7 C's, control. What is control? What does control mean for you?
Keeping something within certain limits.
Okay.
Managing.
Managing. What else? Anything else?
Keep a check on something.
Keeping a check. Okay. Let's just look at the different perspective on this. Yes. Control really means, from an individual perspective, is that you believe, very, very important for you to believe that you control what happens to you. You are in control of your life. It is not the government. It is not the economy. It is not only your teacher or your future employer. You have to be absolutely sure and clear that you are in control of your life. And once you have control on your life and on your environment, then you would know really what it takes to bounce back. One thing is saying, oh my God, what do I do? The things are changing. I do not have a job today. I do not have skills for the new age world. I am doomed. So that's one way of looking at it. The other way is really, no, I know what I need to do. I have prepared myself. I have developed skills. And therefore, I will move forward the way I know best. And therefore, in summary, you really are the designer of your own destiny. It's no one else. You need to, if you are not, you need to define your destiny or what happens next. No one else really controls your destiny or your future. And as a summary to what we just discussed, you cannot prevent certain things. You cannot prevent COVID. No one of us here could have prevented that from happening. It had to happen. There must be reasons why it happened. I'm sure we'll figure that out at a later point. But what we can focus on now and what is important, what we can control is how can we really use this situation, how we can really work around it, work around this adversity and make ourselves more resilient so that we are more ready for the future, for what is coming next. And remember, opportunities will come, and opportunities will come for people who are prepared for those opportunities. Those will be new opportunities, new ways of looking at life, but they will come. Our life will not come to a standstill like we saw in some of the past videos, right? We have come over it multiple times and we will do it again. I'll just take a quick pause here, a minute or so. Any questions, any thoughts that have come to your mind during this? We talked about the 7 C's and some things around it. Any thoughts, any questions? Okay, if not, we'll then quickly move on. Now, when we come out of this, yes, and there will be, we'll just look at it, there are a couple of zones that you really can be as an individual, as an organization, as a group, as a community. How you choose to react, how you choose to move forward depends on how you're preparing yourselves. And some of you may have seen this diagram. Some of this may be it may be new for you. Whenever there is something new, something adverse that impacts us, one of the key first reactions is a reaction of fear, anxiety, hopelessness. And those are all normal human behaviors, right? And that's okay. The key point being, there are these zones of fear where you are, feeling bad, you are just complaining, I lost my job, I don't get money, I'm not getting paid, I am not having classes, I don't know what my future will be. That is the first phase, right? And then there is the next phase, which we call the learning zone, right? You, like said, you give up what you cannot control. Some examples, right? You look at things more objectively, you look at what you can do versus what you cannot do. That is your learning zone. That is where you kind of try and imply what we learned or what we saw in the 7 C's and start building yourself. And then the last and the most preferred zone, where we should be ideally, is what we call the growth zone, right? In the growth zone, I am learning, I'm developing, I'm preparing myself for the future, I'm trying to keep happy, I'm ensuring others around me are happy, I'm trying to contribute, and I am overall looking to adapt to the changes. Now, you have a choice really today. Do you want to continue to be in the fear zone, or do you believe that for you as an individual, the zone that you need to be is in the growth zone? That's where you really get into to get to the next level, to the next step, right? And again, if we respond positively to the situation, if we take the right actions, if we have the right spirit, that's only when we move to the growth zone. Nothing will happen by magic. You have to make things happen. You have to take control. Use resources around you. Obviously, like said, you have to reach out for help. You have to understand things a little better. All that is fine, but then you have to make the choice if you will stay in the fear zone, or you will really shift right, acquire the right attitude and the right skills to move to the growth zone. So that's where we would all like to be. That's what we should all try and achieve as we move through this phase in our lives, right? And just to put a context from a professional perspective, what's happening in the globe today? I'm sure a lot of us are worried about what happens to me, what happens to my job, what happens to my career, what happens to my loved ones, are we all safe? And all those questions are there in our mind. But just to give that professional angle and see how that matches up, what are the key things that the companies are focusing on today? As one key thing, they are focusing on the continuity of business, right? Whatever we deliver, and it can be from a organization perspective. Someone is manufacturing something, someone is providing, like my organization, we provide IT services. Someone is delivering services to other people. It can be like delivery services of your food. The first and foremost focus of organizations today is how to continue business operations. And some of you would have heard the term called BCP, business continuity planning. So all organizations today, all major organizations would have invoked BCP to enable them to run their current operations, right? And whilst they do this, because of the current setup, obviously they have to look at a lot of things like regulatory compliance, security and privacy, and very importantly, the knowledge and expertise of their employees, right? Because we discussed some of the things are changing. Now, in my organization, 100 or almost 90% of our employees used to work from offices. Today, it is probably just the other way around. Only 10% of our global workflows is working from offices, in a physical office. 90% of us are working remotely. Now, to be able to do that, the organizations will have to take certain steps. They will have to ensure connectivity is provided. They have to ensure a device, a laptop, a desktop has to be provided, right? So that is really the first step. And very, very importantly, what the companies are focusing on is to take care of employees. Because at the end of the day, any company who is running business or is delivering something is dependent on their employees to deliver those services. And therefore, one of the major focus whilst running their business is also to ensure that they're able to take care of their employees. As a next step, what are the kind of other next steps that some companies are looking at, right? They will have to then make their business resilience piece come to the front. Like we talked about the individual resilience in all of us, what is the business resilience? They have to look at new policies. For example, many companies in India at least did not have a written down work from home policy, right? But that will become a new normal. That is something that every company will have to focus on going forward. There will be a workforce restructuring and hybrid structure. So some people working remotely. Dr. Jesse and I was talking just before the presentation that even for your learning will be hybrid. You will have a mix of on-site learning where you are in the classroom and remote learning where you are learning probably via seminars like these, right? So it will be a hybrid kind of a setup. Some of the decisions that our manufacturing sector needs to take. We all know we have a huge dependency on China for importing a lot of goods and spare parts and so forth, right? To manufacture things. Do we think about localized production? We have to think about that, right? How can we reduce dependence on some of the other countries? Because in these situations, all that import is stopped. And therefore, our production will stop even if you have employees available in office. New normal. Are there new lines of businesses that we can look at? Some of the traditional businesses probably will go offline. E-commerce, we know, just look at the way Amazon, Flipkart, and your Big Basket, Milk Basket, all those people, how they have grown over the last 2 years, huge. They have been able to establish a new normal without having to go through a disruption, if you will. How many of you really, feel, that you are kind of stuck because you are not getting groceries? You don't need to worry. Pick up your phone today for locations where delivery is allowed. You just pick up the phone. Of course, you may get challenges in getting a slot, but then you can just order food and that will be delivered, or groceries, and that will be delivered to your doorstep. So new lines of business and learning and development, new skills. That again, I'll keep focusing on this aspect. New skills is absolutely and very, very essential for all of us. So new skills through artificial intelligence, through machine learning. That's what we all need to focus on. That's all how we can develop new skills, and organizations will have to ensure that they are able to provide new skills to their employees. So that's kind of how we are looking at it from a organization's perspective, from a professional standard perspective. And remember, all is not gloom. If I look at the, KPMG came out with a report some 2 days back. If you look at the global situation, 67% companies, at least that is 2/3 of companies, have still not really changed their hiring plans for the next 1 year. Yes, some companies have put it on hold, but they have not said we will not hire. Almost 60 to 70% of companies have not made decisions to cut salaries or a majority of the population, which is below the senior management and top management layer, there has been no cuts. And neither have they said that they company. Personally, our CEO has said that we had whatever offers we had made in the campuses for this year, all of them will be honored. and all of those people will join Cognizant as they were scheduled to join. So not all is bad. Lot of things will change, but again, if we are ready to deal with that change, then we will definitely be able to make an impact, move forward. A lot of things, the way we look at it will change, but the key question will continue to be, are we ready to deal with that new normal in our lives? Yep. So with that, I'll kind of, we are at the end of what we wanted to discuss today. So if there are any specific questions or any thoughts that you have in your mind, we can quickly go through that now and then get to the end of the presentation in the next slide. Anything at all that comes to your mind? Anything that you felt we need to discuss, we couldn't spend time on?
Anyone can unmute yourself and just ask a question. One question which I am having in my mind is, since the actual scenario of campus placement and things are going to be a different thing in the coming next year or next 2 years, you can say. So what should be the way in which these students should be preparing themselves? What should be the new skill sets that they should focus upon in order to be placement ready?
Yeah, a great question. And there are two real aspects to it from a management school perspective. One is your summer placements or internships. Yeah. Now, and this is something that we picked up in the last conversation over the weekend as well, if you remember.
Yeah.
Internships may or may not happen this year because while the companies are going through the change, but that does not stop you as an individual to do your own personal research, right? It doesn't stop you from going out and figuring out what is the best way to deal with this situation, what are other organizations doing, and submit a paper to your institute saying, all right, Dr. Jesse, we believe, or I believe as a part of my research, this is the best way forward from an education perspective, from a campus perspective, from looking at the new jobs that are coming out. And to the next part, Dr. Jesse, for placements or jobs, there is no easy answer. I think all of us really need to work together and look at what the current things, for example, and you need to, all of us need to relate to is, one of the sectors which kind of felt a huge shortage of labor during this time. Any guesses? Huge shortage of labor, and they're just not able to function whilst they wanted to. And you would have
health
sorry?
And pharmaceuticals.
Absolutely, healthcare is one. Anything else?
Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, healthcare, pharmaceuticals one. Anything else which we have seen, you have felt? I'm sure you most of us would have.
Biomedical, microbiologist.
I think those are
commerce. E-commerce.
Right?
E-commerce.
Yeah. E-commerce and specifically delivery executives. When you try and order something today, you will see you do not get a slot. Why? Because they do not have enough people to deliver, right? So that is one sector which was trying to hire, trying to get people back to work, give them protective gear and so on and so forth, but they just didn't have enough people. So I think all of us have the people who are responsible for placements, people who have the responsibility of shaping careers for our youngsters, really need to look at all these changes that are happening. What things are moving faster than the other, and then be able to grab that opportunity. There is no, like I said, there is no copy-paste answer to this. It is an evolving situation. All of us has to really look at it and make ourselves prepared. So that's what we need to do, and we have to keep doing this day in and day out. You cannot really say, okay, I have a strategy today and believe that will work in the next month. It may change. So all of us therefore have to be really abreast of what's happening, be abreast of the changes that is happening in the globe. Look at what the government is announcing. They will be offering some new kind of projects. They will be offering certain ability for people to become entrepreneurs. Why should you only think about getting a job? Why can't you yourself develop your own enterprise? there will be a question about funding, but yes, that's where you need to reach out and seek help. I'm sure there'll be people who will be ready to help you if you have the right interest. So don't only focus yourselves on jobs. Start thinking about the fact that you can give jobs to others as well, as long as you have the right idea. And that right idea will come from the fact that you are able to respond to the current situation. Anything else? Any other questions, thoughts?
Sir, I have a question which is not directly related to our presentation and our topic today. The question is, I want to know about your take, how the field sales will be going to be evolved after this COVID-19 situation.
You're talking about field sales?
Yes, sir, because most of the companies which are coming in our campuses are basically hiring for field sales executives and TSOs. So how that profile would be changing?
Yeah, great question. See, again, everything has to evolve, but just so that you know, I think all of us read the report that, and astonishing, Maruti didn't sell a single car in the month of April, right? No one would have thought about that ever before. Maruti not selling a single car in the month of April. And what is the reason? It's not that they didn't have cars sitting in their factories or in their warehouses. They did have production in stock, but they have cars. Why not? Two reasons mainly. Users have not come out to purchase. Another side of it is salesmen were not available to sell those cars, talk to people, offer discounts or whatever that is. So two things, remember, there's always a demand side and there is a supply side. Demand side needs to pick up, and the government has to do a lot in that area. All of us need to really work on how to improve the demand side. But the supply side, once your manufacturing starts and you have things lying in your warehouse, and whatever be that product, you will still need people to sell it. That will never change. That's the base of any industry, how it works. Now, the ways of selling may change. I do not remember the last time in 5 years where I bought an insurance policy by talking to an insurance advisor face to face. I did that 20 years back when I bought my first insurance. I did that 10 years back. But now all I do is I log into policybazaar.com, review, buy. But there are people behind policybazaar.com. They are sellers. They're still selling their products, their services. They will call you. They will tell you that I will take you through my presentation over a chat, over a screen sharing. So the ways of selling will change, but we'll still need people who have to sell the products or the service. So direct contact may go down. It will not go out forever, but then there'll be other methods that we'll have to work out, and companies really have to look at it. You as an individual have to preempt how and where you have to develop your skills. So if you have to really offer someone a service or a product over video, you need to have a different set of skills versus when you're sitting in front of that customer, right? So think from that perspective, and that's where we need to look and enhance our skills.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Anything else that has come to your mind? Slightly unrelated to this conversation is fine as well. We probably will take another 2 questions if we have before we sign off. Dr. Jesse, anything on the chat window? I cannot go there now.
No, nothing as specific.
Okay.
Because people have responded to some of your questions with respect to the sectors and all. Otherwise, no specific question has popped up there.
Okay. All right. Okay. So if there is nothing else, quickly, just as some of the resources that I used, one of my friends, Chandra, has really helped me develop one of the videos that you saw. You can also visit his page. There are people interested in digital technology. Go visit these links, and I'll share this presentation with Dr. Jesse. You can have a look at it. I have also listed some of the other things, where you can develop skills. Udemy is a great organization providing online learning, right? Online resources. Some of them are paid, some of them are free. Just go through some of those, see if there are areas that, and this is just an example. There are so many others who are offering great learning opportunities online. So definitely spend time and see where you can hone your skills, build new skills. LinkedIn is important. See how you can go there, build your network, build your profile, and ensure a lot of recruitment will move online, right? People will go through the portals. LinkedIn is a great one. Please visit. Improve communication skills. That will be so key, and I think all of your teachers would always be telling you, but it becomes all the more important when you are remote and you are not sitting in front of someone. Please develop or improve on your communication skills. Keep abreast of technology changes. What is this good word about artificial intelligence, machine learning, virtual reality? Definitely focus on those things. One way or the other, technology touches our lives. We are using technology today to connect remotely, right? So keep abreast of technology changes, and keep talking to your alumni, your mentors, your teachers, and seek guidance. They may know something which you do not. So always try and tap into people who have touched your lives in one way or the other, and seek guidance and seek help wherever possible. So with that, I would like to end the presentation today. Thank you once again, Dr. Jesse, students, my friends, colleagues who could join and give me this opportunity to talk about this topic today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for this wonderful experience which we are having. It has given us I was just going through the chats, so all of them are thanking you for this wonderful presentation and the opportunity to develop a positive perspective in their mind. Thanks a lot, and look forward for such sessions in the future as well.
Yep. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for joining. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Stay positive.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so